My first question is to Mr. Deschenu, and I'm going to lead in with this. As it stands, the largest 10% of farmers receive nearly 70% of the subsidies from Title I programs. Because of this, large farmers get higher payments and drive land prices up. This is one of the many reasons it's hard for young and beginning farmers to get started. And that's why during the 2018 Farm Bill, I proposed my amendments that would have enacted common sense payment limits. Instead, the previous Farm Bill was intentionally written to help the wealthiest farmers, even relatives with no direct connection to the land, receive unlimited subsidies from taxpayers. Now, the Government Accountability Office says the USDA isn't routinely reviewing FSA operations to ensure compliance meets the legal terms actually engage standards to qualify for the payments. My first question is, what steps have you taken to provide better oversight to farm payments and to comply with the GAO recommendations?
Thank you, Senator. Payment limitations come up every time we roll out a program, and our staff in the county offices do a great job of vetting those operations. I was just in a conversation with one of our CEDs in South Dakota, and a farm there had to submit 3 ring binders full of paper to prove up that they were structured as they said. So our staff are doing a great job at that. The discussion around what payment limitations should be, that's something that the Congress will give us guidance on as it has in the past, and we'll continue to carry that out to the best of our ability. But we are vetting them as diligently as we have the capacity to, sir.
Okay. What steps has the FSA taken to ensure producers are meeting the legal term actively engaged standards to qualify for payments?
Again, we review the files periodically of farms selected at random through spot checks, as opposed to devoting the staff resource to reviewing every single operation. We've got to have a process that can sort of mine the data, sir, to get at that.
My last question is, are there specific reforms that could better ensure programs reach working farmers and not landowners on Wall Street living thousands of miles away?
Sir, we continue to look for the flexibility that we have within the statutes to do that, and we're going to try to find that flexibility that we have, and we welcome conversations with you about what those reforms might be at a statutory level.
Yeah. Next, for Secretary Bonney, USDA is investigating more than $3 1/10 billion for 141 projects through partnerships for climate-smart commodities. Spending over $3 billion without input from Congress is serious concern should be for everybody in the Congress. It is my belief that Congress should not continue to allow USDA to both authorize and appropriate for new programs. So do you, Secretary, does USDA have plans for any other new programs using money from the Commodity Credit Corporation without input from Congress?
I would say that, Congress in the Charter Act of the Commodity Credit Corporation has given USDA the authorities under it. And those are the authorities we used in rolling out the partnerships for climate smart commodities. And we stuck very close to make sure in Charter Act 5E that we track the statute very closely. It's a commodity program that seeks to expand and create new markets for commodity. It comes right out of that language. For that program, we don't have any plans to expand it, and I would just say I think we will continue to use the authority that the Congress has given us through the Charter Act.
Well, are you planning to use it for any other new programs other than the one we've just talked about?
I will speak to my my missionary, and we do not at this point.
Okay, thank you. Another one for you, Mr. Undersecretary. Since 2017, more than $60 billion in ad hoc disaster assistance has been allocated to supplement crop insurance. And if you remember, crop insurance was set up so that farmers would have some certainty and didn't have to rely on Congress for disaster assistance. Crop insurance is already the most expensive farm program title outside of the nutrition title. Do you have suggestions on how we can reduce the sheer size of taxpayer dollars that go to supplemental disaster programs?
I think we would welcome a conversation with all of you on that. As I noted before, we try and structure our ad hoc programs in a way to encourage folks to get in either crop insurance or NAP, and we think that approach continues to be important.